And we sing freedom songs. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching down freedom's lane. Young black men, young black women, wore dashikis, wore their hair in a natural look. Old people, young people, children looked at each other with great respect and pride. African American people were proud of who we are. We were at the height of our mental health. We had a healthy opinion of ourselves. We had a healthy belief in God. We had a healthy respect for each other. And we sang freedom songs. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. It feels good. When I think about that right now, I feel so good. Because I remember what black people were like then. How much love that we had for each other. It was such a wonderful time to be living in this world. It was a beautiful time. Then on April 4th, 1968, in the Lorraine Motel here in Memphis, a king was slain. A gunshot rang out, and it took the life of our great leader. And the reason why I say our great leader, and the reason why I even tell this story, is because this man embodied the power of the church. He embodied the spirit of Christian belief. He embodied what faith was, long suffering. He embodied what Jesus was telling Peter to do. Get out of my ear and go out there and do some work. Go out there and help somebody. Go out there and feed somebody. Go out there and tell somebody about my power. Go and tell them that my power is greater than hate. My power is love. The embodiment of my son is love. When he was slain, our mental health as a people, especially black people or African American people, went into a negative dive. As a society, as a people, we became mentally depressed. We became clinically depressed. You see, your mental health is affected by hate and by love. The scientists are talking today about you have to get Dr. Carl Jung, which is a famous psychologist. He talked about spiritual growth. He was a famous psychologist, and he was one of the major theorists that wrote how you're supposed to treat mental health. And he said about the alcoholic, I can't really help you. He told an alcoholic, but what I do know, you're going to have to get a power in your life greater than mine. Come on, man. Lord. You're going to have to become spiritually connected. And that was what started the movement of Alcoholics Anonymous. Which, to straighten some of y'all out who don't know, because when we don't know, we tend to guess, and we always usually guess wrong. But Alcoholics Anonymous and all them 12-step programs after that, they talk about them 12 steps. What they are talking about is a spiritual journey to God. And they can't say, well, we just going to go the Christian way because so many people they'll lose. You have to. Jesus respected what other folk believe were. He didn't go out there jumping up and down to them Pharisees and all them different folk. You don't believe what I'm saying? All right, I want to talk to you. All right, come on. What he said was, let those with ears hear. If you ain't got no ears, I ain't talking to you. So what we do is we respect whatever religious belief is. But what we say is, the problem that you have is so powerful and destructive until you're going to need something greater than the devices of men. You're going to need a power greater than you and I. And so it was founded on that. As a result, say what you want to say. But millions and millions and millions and millions of people all over the world are getting off alcohol and drugs when us jumping up and down talking about you going to hell, can't do it. All right, now. That is not an indictment against the church. That's an indictment against those people who put themselves in a certain moral high mountain so far over other folks until you can't even talk to them. See, as a psychotherapist, the reason why I'm able to reach people is not so much because of my doctorate degree or all of my licenses and all this kind of stuff and certifications and all that stuff. All that stuff does is let them trust me. Come on, Monica. See, I'm working for God. Yes, yes. And He wants smart folks. Yes, Mom. I'm going to find an indirect way just like AA did. Because in the end, they get to tell you in that 12 step, they be talking about your higher power, before you get along that book. Next thing you know, they talk about God. So, we must do more than tell God how much we love Him. You can't buy God. Come on now. I know folks go down to the casino and gamble. And the way they justify it, I ain't even getting into it. But the way they justify it is, well, whenever I hit, I take 10% and pay to the church. God don't need no gambling money. He owed everything. You ain't taking care of God, you taking care of your ego. And you trying to manipulate God. We need to stop trying to manipulate God. You think God's so dumb that God don't understand your game. If you are going to be a Christian, which means Christ-like, then you ought to conduct yourself like they tell people as therapists. You have to model the behavior that you're trying to teach people. You can't sit up here and say you're a child of God and you need to come on to church and join the Lord and you sleeping with everything that comes through the door. You can't be a preacher who represents the Lord. And you looking up on every skirt that you can catch on the front row as they shift and change. I know, because I know all that. Come on, my God. I know all that. All right, now. You can't do that and say that you are working for the Lord. That's right. You can't say the sick cannot heal the sick. That's right. The blind cannot lead the blind. We became a people in grief. And see, they're like we're in drug addicts and everything like that, because trust me, we are suffering, because whether you are the one that's using the drug or you are the family member that's suffering from the drug usage lifestyle, you caught up in it. And you can run around wherever you want to go and think you can separate yourself like that. But when you leave, it's all still there. Some of us running to church every Sunday, all day every Sunday, praying for somebody out there that's on drugs and we go home, so we leave, we deal with the whole situation all over. Because see, we don't understand that God put ministries in all kinds of forms. They're not all behind the pulpit. All right, yours might not be behind the pulpit, but you have one. Because he said in John 15 that if you don't bear no type of fruit, you're going to be cast from the vine. He didn't say if you don't pay your 10%. No. He didn't say that you don't get to church every day, every Sunday before the door, stay till the door closed. He said if you don't bear fruit, if you don't feed the sheep, if you don't feed the lamb, then you're going to be cast from the vine, no matter what you believe. And this is what we talk about when we say church and mental health. See, there's a word called delusional. That means that you believe something that really ain't true. Right. You just made up in your imagination. And if you think that the only thing you got to do to get into heaven is go up in here and con God into thinking that you are the greatest believer, you're delusional. And you need some help. Okay.